Hello, guys. Hello, and welcome to Kosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pilo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs, Kosi Football Club. Where do I even start? In this video, we'll be reacting to the game that we've just played against ETS Galaxy, which I don't even know how I feel about the match at this moment. I don't feel disappointed, but I'm not happy either. So it's just a weird feeling that I have. So there's a lot to talk about really, because for one, there are so many things that we could have done better as a team. The other reason is the coaching could have been done better as well. So we will just talk about all the moments of the game. Well, not all of them, but the ones that I personally saw as like the big ones. And I will also read your comments so do make sure to leave your comments as well, so that I can read them and we can engage challenge uguti what you thought of the game as well. And I'm realizing right now uguti I did not make an announcement early, so that's the thing. But we'll talk about all those things as the video continues. Now, I think when the game started, the one question that we're asking most of us was, with the starting 11, Guti, who's going to play right back? Is it Kweneka or is it Ngezana? And it turns out Uzwane preferred Ungezana, which made sense. I said that before the stream, Guti, Ungezana has a pace and I prefer him to play as a right back because of that. So I think with that, it wasn't a very big issue. What I had a problem with though before the game and when the game did start is the fact that Caleb, he did not have a bad game today. Like, he wasn't horrible. You understand? He was better than his previous games. So today I won't say, hey, Caleb sucked. No, he didn't. Today Caleb was okay. There's other things that I want to talk about as well later on that I saw Caleb doing today, which he doesn't usually do. So there was some improvement that I saw with Caleb today, and I will talk about that later on. What was my concern though is with Zwane insisting on playing with Caleb basically. I also noticed Uguti Angaz Noma, it's just an ongoing injury, but it was strapped. I don't know whether it's his left or right hip or something. But I'm like, this player Batong, he's playing with a strapped he's playing with a strapped leg, and you have other options that you could have chosen. Leave a performance on the side, leave Uguti Besitu Yaboza on the side, leave all the other things. If he's injured, even in the game against Amazulu, we played Caleb Elimel and he ended up not being able to finish the game. So today we came with the same energy. We don't care, we're just going to play Caleb Elimele futhi or any minor thing that needs to be addressed. So yeah, and especially today, the questions that will be asked won't be about the players themselves, but it will be more about what Zwane did. Like, more of the decisions, more of the things that went wrong are because of what Zwane did or did not do. Simply put, this game, Mangatua, he doesn't come out and say it's my fault. It's then that one of those things where he should just come out and admit Uguti, he made a mistake. He's the one who just screwed up the whole thing. But let's continue with point by point. So atmosphere, guys, wow. And that's what makes this more disappointing for people who were there. Because the stadium, I understand why the game was delayed. The fans, guys, they were loud from start to finish. Like, and I feel like from that energy, because siyadlala FNP but akubi nje, last week besele impompo but akubi nje, but today the energy in that stadium, everyone was just, the fans were so energetic. You can see ukuthi other provinces ngempela, from a business perspective, it does make sense for Chiefs to move ama home games abo around, and I think they should consider Imbombela as one of those places where they can move their games, because wow, the support that I saw today, it did help the team play better, because players did seem to feed off that energy. You did see players running around, which brings me to Uhlanti as well. Uhlanti today is one of the players that you guys know I'm usually not happy with effort Kahlanti and stuff like that, but today Uhlanti was just energetic, was making, because there was a movement like Guma triangle. I'm not making into ama Illuminati, I'm going to triangle. Ukuthi a movement between uDupree, Uhlanti, noDuba, they were fluid, because since ubona uDupree ngathi uyadropa to midfield, then Hlanti overlap, then umntu azolanda ibhola, bebe flexible. There was a lot of movement, there was a lot of things happening, and the energy abadlali today was in the right place. And I would say with that, as much as Uzwane messed up massively today, I think that's one thing, that's one positive that I can say I saw abadlaleni be-Chiefs today. There was a lot of movement, and it says Galaxy were having a hard time keeping up with us, and because one moment ikumela makuDupree senyamalele seqhamuka uHlanti this side, and now he has to chase after uHlanti or Dupree, and then they end up committing fouls, which is why we ended up forcing them to getting a yellow card and then a red card, because we're just constantly moving and popping up wherever they were not expecting us to pop up, and as a result we ended up forcing them into making mistakes, which Uzwane should have done better to capitalize on, but he did not. So guys, if you are enjoying this video, please do like the video so that it can reach more people like you. Going forward now, so live stream after my game, that's much more effective, and it helps with the communication between us as well. So please do like the video. The next thing is obviously Uguti khona i-chance yokuqala that we got, where I then saw ukuthi okay, nango kuKaleb uqalile. We get a chance, Umart has the ball. Umart is running with the ball. Caleb did not know whether to run into space or to stop and play with him, because the stopping to play is you stop and wait for the ball to come to you if it's played over the top, and then you play with the guy who's coming to you. But that time Umart had the ball and was running towards goal, and Caleb is supposed to either, in the simple, make a run forward, because Mawenza that run, or make a run wide. You are forcing the defender to track you, because once you are a defender like tracker, because you are moving wide, then you are opening space for the person who has the ball. Or alternatively, make another run through the middle, a diagonal run in another way, foot again, that defender will track you and go with you. But to Caleb, he just stands there, and he, in a way, how is it going to be possible for you to what's this thing? How are you going to make the player who has the ball pass you the ball if uvelu manch? Because it ended up being Mart chipping the ball over, and Caleb wasn't even aware ukuthi okay, since there is a defending ashe eduze kwalo, the only pass on ilezo chipwa over, I must try and find a way to exploit the space behind the defender. Cha, akakwenzi lokho. So as much as ube ngcono than other games, that was just like, okay, there is Caleb and his poor movement, and it was one of those things where I was like, I hope people can see what I was talking about. Uguti, everything is into you can do better, and I will continue to say this. He was better today compared to other things, and there was that miss on the 29th minute. Dupree, I don't even know who played that Itami. I think it was Umtu. Only plays the pass, and then Umtu Avelosha Itami, and then Dupree could have done two things. The first thing was play Caleb, because Caleb in that case, he had made the right run, which was through the middle and waiting for a cutback. But another thing that Dupree could have done is keep calm and pick a spot. Bese kuyi-panic stations lapha, wapanika wageja. And that was the point where he could have helped the team, like score a goal, lead within the first 30 minutes. All of a sudden, the team is leading and you have an advantage. All of a sudden, the what's this thing? The team is no longer under pressure, which we must score. Because the longer the match goes, the longer or the more pressure is added to the players. That's what I've seen. With the Chiefs, if we don't score early, the next thing that happens is we get more pressure as the match goes. However, if we score early, what I've found is that the longer the match goes, the more we relax. So it's like, what's the sweet spot? It makes it seem like the sweet spot for us to score is around the 60th or the 40th minute or so, but they did not even Chiefs. So I think that was the thing. So let me continue with the next point. Peterson, by the way, I was impressed. I will try to include. I am talking about all the things I saw, and one of the positive things that I saw was the fact that Amatros Peterson shem ang impressile today. Like in the lebes transition ngayo, when Peterson got the ball, he throws it to Umtu starts running at the opposition, or when Peterson gets the ball, he throws the ball wide to Dupree, and then all of a sudden we're on quick counter, which was good. We can play Masia Pambili, move them around, which I was also very impressed by. We're able to move the ball to the right and then move the ball centrally and then switch it wide, and then slow kusba movies, and eventually nama spaces. And into that I think Uzwane is implementing that he got right today. Again, in movement, he did get it right. They were moving much more fluidly and they were much more active. So the second thing is, since our defenders have been making so many mistakes, one thing that Uzwane also got right is the fact that our defenders were then not under much pressure to play the ball, because Ustebe was dropping between our defenders. So Kweneka would go to the right and then Udov will go to the left, and then Ustebe would drop in between them. And in that way, he was the one who was collecting the ball from the goalkeeper, and then he would pass it to them, and then they always have an option of Ustebe who's playing between them, and then Ustebe progresses the ball to Mtu obe droppes olandi bola, and then Umart yena bengathi ukubafrika kancane, then collects the ball, and then we can start moving the ball forward. I think that minor tweak helped Chiefs as well to not have a defenders edge on the ball so much, because a lot of times before where we've conceded goals is because we were figured out to put defenders at we comfortable on the ball, and then we got pressured and then we'd make mistakes. But today Ustebe in that way helped us a lot, because he was still involved in the build-up very much, and at the same time he was still able to he was still able to defend when we had to defend as well. Moving on to Caleb today, as I said, I saw more combinations between him and midfielders, which is an improvement, because usually I will bola because available, but today I saw him a few times playing a 1-2 with Utoli, playing a 1-2 with Umdu, which made me go like, okay, that's good. Like ngiyakubona udlala ibhola nomdlali more times than you usually do. So I thought, Caleb today did better than usual. You see, I am not just anti-Caleb. If he does something good, I will say he did something good, and that was the good thing that I saw him doing, those combinations with attacking midfielders. Otherwise, he was still the same old Caleb. And then the next thing is that Umdu Konalam, where he got the chance, which I think iyamshaya kancane umduli yanto leya because udlala nabadlali abangawathatha ama chances or who are not taking responsibility, is that he gets the ball umdu, and instead of being calm and waiting for more people to join him with attack, he's trying to take the shot on goal and then it just goes wide. And I think that's one thing, another thing, not one thing that Uzwane must address with our players. Like, we see this with Umart, we see this with Usteb, we just see this with a lot of our players. What they tend to do, they tend to rush and try to take ama shots on goal when it's not necessary for them to do that. And ama shots abo awekho accurate because usuke phethe ibhola ecabanga ukuthi am I passing, and then no one is pressing him and he's like, okay, awuthi ngishaya ngoba bangimakile, and then while he sets himself up, now he's being pressed, and then they end up making poor shots. So I think as much as we can say, oh, the player is taking responsibility and taking ama shots, there should be also a balance. Okay, check and how far away from goal are you? A lot of balls were wasted by Omar because he's trying to take shots and he's taking with his left foot, which I think that is weaker foot. Angazi noma ukhahlela ngazo zombili inyawo, because usually I see him using both of his feet. So I think that should be talked about ukuthi we need to take less shots at goal if ungekho in a right, ungekho balanced and the spaces sakho or distance from goal ingekho right. So please also do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We speak everything Kaizer Chiefs. As you can see, we react to games, we preview matches, and we talk about Chiefs on a daily basis. Moving on to Indaba Caleb, he gets injured, and it's unfortunate, right? Because at the end of the day, this is someone's career, right? It's someone's career, and I think as much as Gukono, okay, now Caleb is out, that means the only bright side yokuthi Caleb is injured is that maybe we might see Umdu getting a game time, because one, we might start with Usail and take him off and put on Utuba. Or we might start with Utuba and then bring on Usail second half. So that's the only bright side. Yogutu Caleb injured. But as a human being to another human being, I really hope Uguti he recovers, because that tackle wasn't really, like, it wasn't nice. It wasn't. And here's the thing with that tackle as well. Uguti, I don't see the name. Munyai, I think it's Munyai who got the red card. He's the one who actually had the ball, and Caleb was marking and he got caught by Uguti. It was like a follow through. He did not intentionally do that to Caleb, by the way. From the replays that I saw, Uguti, he actually was trying to clear the ball, and after trying to clear the ball, then he caught him in the follow-up, and that wasn't a nice thing to see. So yeah, as a footballer, as a Kaizer Chiefs player, as a human being, I hope he recovers and that he gets better, because yeah, I don't like people getting injured. And then after that, aibo sengidlulile in half time. Oh no, it's Caleb. That was before injury. Okay, that was before injury. Caleb, I'm actually mixing his into. Before injury, Caleb, there was a time where he injured a player himself, because, right, there's a person who's coming with the ball, and what he's doing with Caleb, and what ends up happening when the ball is played, the guy is aware ukuthi Caleb akekho aware ukuthi ibhola lizakuyi. He wins the ball off Caleb, and then Caleb is recovering and trying to win the ball back, and then ends up committing a foul, which is what I was saying. Ukuthi Caleb kwesinye isikhathi uma kanje ne defender unamathele defendeni and does not make any movement, and while he's doing that, he's actually limiting himself, because then the guy is just going to win the ball off him, and then worst case scenario is that he wins the ball, he starts an attack, we end up conceding a goal. Best case scenario kukuthi ke Caleb recovers and wins the ball back, but that thing needs to improve. It's just unfortunate Manjuguti is injured and he can no longer improve his game now because, well, he is injured. The next one is we went to half time. Before we went to half time, there was that mistake that the Chiefs almost made. So what happened is it was inside our box. We were calm, we won the ball back, and we started playing short passes within our box. Mase kumele siklerishe ball out of the box silnikeze TS Galaxy. And that's one of the things that we need to stop doing, because lento yokunikeza abantu amabhola freely, it was better managed today because of Ustebe, but otherwise it wasn't a bigger problem. Otherwise though, kumele swalimiteke onke lawo ma mistake. Mas clearish ball, as clearish ball, and then it ends there. And then next one is the fact that Caleb is, at halftime there were no changes, and then Caleb's leg is, if it's not broken, there is something that happened there. But I've talked about the injury, and I wish him quick recovery. But that's like 3 months, 4 months. If it's a dislocated ankle, 3 months at least, 4. But season Caleb is over basically, from the way I saw it, unless it's really that strong. Uzong surprise. But so that's the thing. Anyways. Next one is red carding. It's the 56th minute. Now we have 34 minutes to score a goal. And at that moment, it depends who you are and how long you've been watching football. There is one side that says, okay, at this point, we should now crush this team, right, by a shot. But if you've watched how teams that play with one-man shot play, you know what all they want from the game now is to defend. You understand what TS Galaxy are already second best in their defending this season. Now add to that the fact that they are now one-man short, which means they are no longer going to try and attack. So the only thing that they are now going to do is defend. And that was my fear when they got the red card to Guti. Okay, now we might try and use the extra man, but TS Galaxy were not so stupid as to try and attack us. Bebon Guti by a shot. They did try to just turn it up a bit, but the numerical advantage was on our side. And then Coach Wabo was smart enough, because those decisions to try and attack were up to individual players. But the coach realized, nope, so let me bring out players who are attacking and bring on defenders. And from there, Galaxy started defending. What I also realized is that we know what Ungezana is not a right back. And you could see Uguti, yes, we didn't have a choice, but this is not taking a shot at him. Defensively, he did his job, but offensively, Begnen Kinga offensively, because in the when do I make a move, when do I run, and when it does run, then you have an issue. Good, now you are one-on-one with the person. Dribble past yena, but after that, what? Agasaz no magmela cross, or after dribbling the player, maybe recover from him, and then the next thing myself dulile kumuntu agasazi ukuthi enze njani, because it's either ukele puts ashile again, or he just can't pick a pass. So Ungezana noma eshaya cross ebhedayo, but again angeke ngimblame that much Ungezana, because I would say for Ungezana it was down to, that's just not his position, and he had to play that position because our fullbacks are injured and there was nothing much that could have been done. But I did see Uzwane solving that issue by Ugutumart. We saw it in the previous game, he played as right back. So since TS Galaxy were now focusing on a low block and defending their box, what ended up happening, Umart went on the right and then started playing as a winger of sorts, and then Ebola was basically being played to him from Ungezana, and then he was the one who was trying to play the balls into the box, which wasn't a good idea. I feel like Chiefs would have benefited much more if they just continued playing the ball on the floor, pass it across like how we're doing first half. Play the ball from Mart to Ngezan, play to Quinik, play to Dove, pass it to Hlanti to Doli to Sehota back to Doli. Look ba movisa kanje, and then mawubona space sivuleka, then pass the ball through that. And then that's when we talk about ukuthi sokhuluma ngosayile in a moment ukuthi it wasn't helping us ukushama across, because for one, the player who was there onge usayile ngesikhathi ngenela uCaleb, he's not like ukuthi uzobhitha umsimango bonke nge-height. I-conscience ayitholile, which I think he could have done better. But akusikho ukuthi you can just trust ukuthi we have one tall player in the box, so let's just play all the balls into the box and play them across. It wasn't a wise thing to do. Because if you think about it, but focused egu-blockeni ama-cross, that's their duty, that's what they were doing. And Tina support isimo sokuthi no, let's play the ball into the middle. It wasn't helping us, and it actually did not help or work for us whatsoever. And then KG comes on form to around the 70th minute, but before that Ungezana gets headbutted. Bayamheda la uzidane wathole red card World Cup aba 2006 already, so it's not like it's a new rule yokuthi mawuheda umdlali uthole red card. This thing has been there in football. You don't just headbutt a person and get away with it in front of a linesman. The fact that the linesman even jumped in because ube ngaphandle eselayinini, bamheda Ungezana phambi kwakhe, uyagijima ulinesman uzothulisa usanoka loyo. How? No red card, and the only person who gets a yellow card is Peterson for rushing out of his goal to come and be a peacemaker there. But there was a red card. Understand ukuthi how was that not a red card? Referee ngempela ungiperplexile mina. I was like, what is actually going on here? Why is this not a red card? And then this is where we talk about uZwane, because this is now the issue ukuthi why was Zwane not making ama-subs? Like honestly, why was Zwane not making ama-subs? Like on yazi bafethu ufaka uKG on the 70th minute form 2. Understandable ukuthi umuntu amkhiphe, fresh legs. You need a player who's going to be wide and take players on about dribble wide. You needed another player again. Uduba was supposed to go into that game angene kube uyose boxing, usayile adlale wide. Usayile today asimbonanga that much because usevaleleke kuleya nto leyo ukuthi use target man. Usevaleleke nje ukuthi abe i-target man and akuna movement. Kanti what he did so well in the previous game ukuthi out wide from the side, Usail was taking people on, dribbling and getting balls into the box, pants high across wire. But today, by basically bringing on Usehota and having Umar on the right, you are saying, oh, cross all the balls to Usail. Uyedwa. Yabo Umangete, he did not get that right. Ama-subs, and we've been talking about this. Zwane must start trusting his subs. He must just start trusting ama-subs zakhe, because akusizi ukuba nomdlali who can give you something from the bench like uDuba, who can dribble, who can create space for himself in the box, who can make the right movements, who can force the opposition to foul him because useboxing, and he can control and manipulate the ball in small spaces, which basically is what we're limited to. And we're getting into their box, we're camped around their box, and now and again we got the ball into the box, but then we were wasteful because because we did not have enough quality players. Utoli stays until the 89th minute for the why. Utoli kemini ubevelela into eyodwa. Utoli ubevelela ukuthi masingama free kick, otherwise ubungamboni uDole gamini. If it wasn't a free kick bekuba nenkinga nje. If kungenayo free kick uDola umboni, uDolo umbona makuyi free kick or masexama ucross, otherwise ubengekho yet uZwane keeps him grounding. So singamblame uDolo sithi uDolo uyasiphuza, but with all due respect uZwane this game naye nje usiphuzile masikhuluma amaqiniso, because this team is no longer attacking. You have made a solution yokuthi uzothatha uMart umdlalisa out wide, thatha kungezani yomdlalisa as a defender, keep uQuinic, bring on an additional striker, because if kukuthi ufuna ukeep uDoli because they might foul us and then we might get a set piece and then he might score, okay miyeke kuDoli wakho ngoba ufuna ukumhlalisa groundini, but keep uQuinic lapha emuva, keep any one of the defenders to give us something going forward. Because we did not need like to have it back 4 years to still compact, because all lama defender four, especially Kwenika, Dove Ngezani, between Kwenika and Ngezani, you had to sacrifice one of them. It's not even a sacrifice. We did not receive any more attacks from the team. So asikho nje isidingo sokuthi uqede game ngama defender awu 4, 3 of which are center backs. Keeper Mangete siyakucela, use your subs. They are there for exactly that. It's like yazi angiunderstand namanje mina ukuthi why would you have players just sitting on the bench? Uzokwenzani uMatlo on the last 7 minutes? Uzokwenzani? Because I understand the vision. Ufakela ukuthi to trade ama passes if we not what's this thing? A pass to the box or intricate passes because he's a good passer of the ball. But why wait until the 89th minute? You don't need to do that. And I hate it when I have to speak against Uzwane because it then sounds like I am anti-Mangete, which I am not. But the thing is, he keeps on giving us reasons to criticize him. This is one of the games that is just disappointing. You are playing against the team Shotai. Capitalize on that. Just capitalize on that. Like I would even argue at this point, Uguti, you don't need to play Umart the entire game. No, Bengaboz Umart, but you don't need to play him the entire game. You just don't. Fresh legs, different kind of players at bench in. The moment actually Caleb gets injured. Caleb is out injured, but at the same time, you know when these guys go a man down, they are not going to try and attack you. You just think, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Okay, now they are men down, they are going to be defensive. Zwane should know this. So instead of saying oba somboli sukuma sikfak, that's not the thing yokurasha to yon. Okay, game plan yabi sizoshintsha to defending. How do I then come out with a plan of beating game plan yabo? Yes, it's obvious ukuthi kumele ngifake uSahil for Caleb. Or is it? Because I could bring on uSahil for Caleb, but angayi kuyodlala the same role that Caleb was playing. That's the first thing. Because now what we need to do, bazoba flat emuva, what do we need to do when we are playing against a team that is playing low block? Is to make sure to stretch them, because mase bedlala labantu badlala bawu9, so sebezodlala nge5 emuva ne4 phambi kwabo kanje. So that means they are as wide as possible. Bona, they are trying to be as compact like this because they are trying to stop dangerous balls into the box. Tinas this way. Let's say we're this side. They are trying by all means to block. So all you need to do is play the balls into the side. They open up, they shift. That's where you open spaces. That's when you bring on a player like Umatlo, a player like Umatlo, so that he can make those passes between the lines. That's also the time where you bring on a player like Usehota earlier on. Uguti wide, I know ukuthi ujika mosha mathuba. With an instruction yokuthi wena uzoba as wide as possible, uzoma elayinini. That's what you do. Uma elayinini. Awenzi okunye uma nje elayinini, because ma uma elayinini you are forcing the defender to come and mark you. And if it doesn't mark you, then he knows ukuthi he will try and mark you usuku stride sakho usugijima uza kuyi, and no defender wants to do that with uSekhota noma ngathi uzobheda kwi final pass, but that tactical advantage makes you say okay, uSekhota is wide uselining, uSahele is wide uselining. Now you have two players who are out wide, and then you have brought on Uduba who's playing through the middle, and futhi abanye abadlali who are adding into the box. Keep a foot nailing it, defend, and bring on someone else also add my numbers going forward. So now what you essentially have, let me see this ukuthi kuma reserve bani omuyobe khona obengasiza ngalenyaka nyaka. Uzwane is also another good passer of the ball. Uduba, Umatlo. So basically what you are doing at this point, you are trying to make sure you bring in players who can pass the ball. Umatlo uyakwazi ukwenza lokho, Uzwane uyakwazi ukwenza lokho. And then Sahele beno Caleb, they are the ones who are trying to make sure ukuthi abantu ba wide, and then when they do get the ball, they beat whoever who was marking them, and then they play ama cutbacks into the box, because essentially by beating one player, now you have a way into playing the ball into the box. We did not utilize that, and we got screwed because Uzwane did not use his subs, and it did not calculate and see ukuthi what was going to work best for Chiefs at that moment. All he thought about was just, let's continue doing the same thing, which is not something that we should be telling our coach to do every other week. I think ngifunda my comments and because maningi manje, and sengikhulume kakhulu 36 minutes. Wow. Guys, please do like the video, please do comment ningitshela ukuthi ngicabangani about the game. Umandla, of course, Mandla says, today I blame Zwane. Why leave Dolly so late and why add Matlo? One man down. Yabo indaba Matlo add because ebenchini ubengekho omunye umuntu. I would think umuntu uDolly, uMatlo was the right person to come on, but that does not mean Uduba should not have been played much earlier than that. So Matlo vele bekumele angene, because mawubheka leya box bese kuzosala uNgcobo, uNange, noThawa, noZwane. So into yenza ibe questionable indaba kaMatlo though is that why Matlo? Why Matlo adlale ahead of uZwane who has played more games, right? Because from the point yokuthi that's what I already have, so ngizomfaka because uyapasa kahle better than other players. But the thing is, why is he now ahead of Uzwane? Is it not like Matlo was below Uzwane because Uzwane was a starter? All of a sudden Matlo is ahead of Uzwane who was a starter all along? Does not make any sense whatsoever. And then Umandla again says, I'm disappointed in Zwane. Zwane's coaching decisions are so poor, my goodness. Yeah. Especially second half, he wasn't make sure. But I'm here. Did you put enough balls in the box for Caleb Bubuzu Coast? I think I've covered in the baga Caleb Puguti. Today he was better than usual, but still he was still wasteful in at times where you needed him to deliver. And then Cooks again. Cook says I ngeke. Ipala laziwa Nhlobo, I'm disappointed. And Mandla says, why not add to Duba? We need goals, my daughter. And then Cooks says, only Mdu is hungry. Umpazema says, ukuphuma kwa Caleb kushintsha game. We're looking like we're gonna score when we had Caleb on the field. I think when Caleb went out, what happened is that we had the pressure yokuthi sebeyashota manje. That's what happened. In the heads of the players, it seems like they just said, okay, sebeyashota manje and we must score. Bese kunaleyo nto le bese bepanic. That's what happened there ukuthi, which is weird, right? Because this is when you say players like Abo Dolly, players like Abo Hlant, Abo Kunika, this is where they come in like and say, okay guys, let's come down. Let's come down. These guys are one man down. We can punish them. That's what we can do at this point. But we did not. That's not what we did. We just let them be. And yeah, disappointment. And it's not like commentator kept on saying this thing, once we get to the 80th minute, the panic will be even more. But I was like, it has already started. The moment Caleb got injured and then the red card, okay, baqala bapanic, baqala bathatha ama long range shots, bayeka ukwenza lento ade beyenza kahle, basebenzela first half yokumove Galaxy around and finding spaces. Mduota had a good game. Mazwane couldn't break these people down. He was just playing in front of his nose without hitting them. Kusho Ukusta. When they were patient in the first half, they did find spaces. It's just that now what we needed to do is move the ball much faster, much quicker, because that's what you do against some teams that do it. Because mawuzoloku uzama ukweqisa ibhola phe kwabo ngeke uwine lutho. Costa says, I like the link up between Caleb and the small boy Noshab. Yeah, that's what I was covering as well. They were better today, much better. King Joe playing a draw in front of a damn near full stadium is embarrassing. Ngampela, like you just don't do that. Like there were a lot, and they were supportive through and through. Football Freak says long walk to 30 points. Both Soweto Giants. Abeko make sure Sundowns Lapho is winning 15 games in a row. Utlanti or Kanti says, I'm not happy with the game, but the players played well. But Mart and Sitebe need to learn to take shots. And Ega Mart, we've been talking about it for a long time. Sayiyeka abantu bayiyeka, mina ngingaze ngayiyeka. Bantu bathi kuyiyeka after he scored against the Pirate because they were like, oh, sometimes these ones work. But they don't work all the time. So guys, please do like the videos. Please do like the video. And Umvui says, but Dolly and Dupre should have passed to Caleb in the first half. Yeah, not Dupre. Njalo second half it disappeared. I forgot to mention that even. Football Freak says Utlandi Mdala for his poor decision making. The more you look at these things, you feel depressed. Yes, namanje saying more depressed because I was numb after the game, but now that I'm talking to you guys, I'm realizing that people are mad. They are angry, not mad as in crazy. Are mad because, well, why would you not? Next one. Umvui says, Umvui says this nonsense of aerial balls is not our style. It desperation like lo market asibhekane besithi ngesudlala sesi desperate manje sesigcine sesudlala futhi ngenkani. Everyone shooting from range missed. And what do these guys do in training? And Dole and Dupree, they could have finished the game, but why Samdu while he was the only player who's not afraid to play? And why Umatlo while you have Duba on TS Galaxy that had red card? I'm a big fan of Mr. 10111, but today I'm disappointed. You and me both. Minega Duba vele ngisamangal ukuthi kwenzakalani. What happened? Unkoksi says Zwana is blank. I'm sorry, no changes, nothing. Bese yanqapha. Utheo says Caleb, you we kalela go Caleb Utheo. Football Freak says also these things of us Kaizer Chiefs fans overhyping our new players will be the end of us. I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't, but we're putting them in an awkward moment when they start panicking. Sonje, the problem is that we have platforms, ne? And now that we can talk every day about anyone, every game about anyone, that's why we end up hyping players being against the loot, because Usailwa performed in an open game last week. Today it was a different game and it didn't show up that much, and it's not his fault. It's up to how it was played and how or who we were playing, because circumstances will be different. And now he had that chip on his shoulder. Oh no, I have to deliver. Last week I delivered. I've been trending, because I'm sure he sees what people are saying on Twitter and stuff. There are moments where he was open and free, then the poor decision making of Umtu and Doli decided to be great. I think you're talking about Caleb or the other guy, Usail. Anyways, football, Umvui says Brendan improved and he deserves to start. He did, and people were happy with him dealing with aerial balls. He did that well. Another clean sheet for our Peters. He did well. Zwane failed to sub Kwinika for an attacker. Exactly. AZ has a long way to go in coaching. You need to be smart. He needs help. He needs someone he respects who's going to tell him, "Go to stop this nonsense. Sub a player in the 65th minute." That should be at that point. Kumele ngabe usabe 4 players. The last one usehlalela ukuthi if someone gets injured, but around the 65th minute umuntu usedlale 20 minutes in the second half, akakenzi lutho, akaphume ngempela. And then Sibungu Buko says Zwane must fix the substitution to his game management is going to cost us. I agree completely. Costa says Sahel was good in that previous match coming from the side. I didn't see much from him in this game, but I understand because Galax was just sitting. If he was wide, he would have still done better. Olako Sigushumpo Taining was hot. The less I say about that player, the better, because always, all the time, he wants to go forward. It doesn't matter how good Konabani Pambil. Doesn't matter whether there are 4 defenders in front of him. He's going forward. He doesn't care. Then who played is saying Peterson got a yellow card. I think you're referring to that incident where the Usanok did not get a red, but our player did, which was ridiculous. Costa says even their keeper was there in the mix in Jen. But he didn't get anything in. The referee was poor. I sense excuse no ref, because even if the 9 men, 10, 8, we're still going to struggle. Umvui says, don't even mention anything about the ref. He's a palooka. I don't know what a palooka is. The only people who are serious about Chiefs is us supporters, not the owners. Because you need equality. Because mawusu bheki bench ukuthi ubani obengangena shintshele ya game. Sithemba usekhotha ukuthi ubengangena shintshele ya game. Blade says basomboli bekufanele angene with 2 more players ngoba EBC short. Exactly, that's what I was saying. You don't need to be saving changes. It's missy short. Attack them, kill them. Ngayo yonke into ongayenza. Okay, ama comments maningi manje ngizozama ukuthi ngiwafunde at random. Umunye uzothupa Uzwane wasn't making changes because he was groomed by Baxter. And Ushoti says our Chiefs, they training forward because we didn't see any good match against yes Galaxy. True, Kaizer Chiefs, they are not serious guys. They must not get enough payment month. I should get an award. I even read your chew like that. And then Shorty continues to say, yes, I agree with you, Mpiti. All black coaches are not good for Chiefs. Even Pito, he can't manage a Chiefs, guys. But why manage Sundowns in your Pito? Until Manjima, because Costa says even Kosi could have done better in terms of interplay and those long shots. Oh, Nkosi Ngiphile Ngcobo limele. Oh, Paluka means stupid. Thank you, Plate. Then Plate says, I don't get why our players are out of shape as professional athletes. So, by an honest conversation one of these days about our physical trainer / conditioner, because it's a shame. Lusana says Coach Zwane is constantly opening doors for negative critics. Yebo. I mean, why do you still have a 6 midfield against 10 men? I mean, that should be schoolboy error. Sis, we lost this game. Well, this is not a 1 point game. This is not a point gained. It's 2 points lost. Finish and clear. Umbugiso says we failed to beat 10 men team. Our coach can surprise you. We failed to break the defense. We needed ball players to kill that defense. The same as that said the league will go down to the wire. That's the case. But all in all, guys, if you think about it, this game just came down to poor decision making. Sorry for the comments I didn't read. I'm tired now. I've done 2 live streams today. The other one was an hour. This one has been 49 minutes. So I will cut the first 15 minutes or so of the video and upload it to the channel for those of you who missed that part. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Disappointing end, but until next time, remember, equals alpelo moy. Baluka means stupid. What is that? What is language is that, Baluka? We learn every day.